All right, welcome in everyone. American and Leeds, the American and Leeds YouTube, Twitter, and I'm doing Instagram for the first time tonight. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. My name is Alex Simon. Best way to support the channel is to like or subscribe to it. Yeah, free channel. I am an American fan. I've been an American fan of the Mighty Whites since 2014, 2015. So I have not been a long suffering Leeds fan as many of you have, but was here under Bielsa, was here under Monk, was here under some of the the terrible year under Heckingbottom and Thomas and Christensen. But I understand some of the nuances and great things about the Mighty Whites, but I don't. I'm not going to hear and say that I was through all of the ups and downs, but enough. So happy you're here. Welcome in. Got my Bielsa mug, and the man is in the Copa America and taking his Uruguay side to a semifinal. So hope you're doing really well. Let's just jump into it. I want to talk about really what my insight that I can provide to you as an audience as Leeds United fans, I think is a little bit of a psyche into the 49ers and why I think how they're going to operate. And there was a comment actually on one of my previous videos that was basically and shout out to all anybody that watches me. You know what? Cheers to you. If you're over 50, God bless you. You've made it through this much. We can make it through another day together. So to all the oldies out there. But Philip Anderson says to me, Archie, I basically said Archie sold to Spurs for $40 million. Joe Rodon coming back in a separate deal. Philip Anderson says really not happy with the owners. The 49ers are dealing with a transfer with this transfer window. They need to get a move on. And my value that I can bring to you is really how I think the 49ers operate, how typical American owners operate. And they're not all exactly alike, but I think I know this ownership group somewhat well. And I think year 2, we are starting to understand as a fan base how they operate. They don't leak. They take their time. I mean, Archie came in under the gun, so to speak, of the FFP June 30th deadline, whatever you want to call it, at the final 11th hour. So that's how a lot of deals will be done. And I think you saw that last year too, with a lot of deals getting done really in late August, mid to late August. And that's really what's going to happen this year. Again, we're going to get deals done late. That's how they operate. They view it. It's a negotiation tactic. And they also understand that their players, they're not going to be put off as mugs, as some people would say. They will, it's a poker game to them. They have, the only word I know how to use is patient capital. They have enough money to make mistakes. And so they are not afraid to walk away from deals. Does that make sense? They're not afraid to make a mistake. And I don't think they've made one because they have that patient money. And so they've held on to some players that I think probably previous owners might have sold. But I think that's been to our benefit because we've held on to some nice talent, i.e. Crescencio, Somerville, Nanto, both players that probably wanted deals last summer but didn't get one. So let's go into the outgoings because I think I keep seeing headlines that are like 10 out, 11 out, and we've only brought 2 in. But that's okay. I mean, who out of this list that I'm going to go over, there's only a couple where you would really say, yeah, that's going to be, we're going to miss that player. So let's go. Charlie Cresswell, that's one that I think does hurt us in a sense. I thought there was a player in there, certainly we all saw the West Ham game that Bielsa put him in at center back. And I thought there was a player in there, and he put in a shift most of that game. So That's a little bit of a head scratcher. Maybe the 49ers, the only thing I can speculate there is obviously the manager didn't rate him, but the 49ers might not have enjoyed how the family and Charlie put up with what was going on last year. And so, in order to cut ties with the monumental task that we're doing, which is trying to promote this team to the Premier League, you don't want any negative energy. And so, unfortunately, Charlie had to go. And God bless him. No, did not go to an English side. So Charlie Cresswell, well, but didn't get near the side. Christopher Clausen, Chris Clausen, Diego Llorente, Archie Gray is a big loss. Liam Cooper, I think a locker room loss, but not really someone that was on the field on the pitch as much. Sam Greenwood, who was on loan. Jamie Shackleton, in and out of the lineup, in and out of the squad, injury prone. Thank you for your service. Darko Jebi was on loan. I think there's a player in there, but again, a player that was not getting near the side. Stuart Dallas, retirement, and I mean, he couldn't play. He can't play again. I don't think we'll see him in any kit, let alone a Leeds United kit. Jack Harrison. I like Jack. I've done videos about Jack. His number one attribute is that he's always fit, but probably subject to a really bad clause in his contract, and so we have to put him back out on loan. Mark Rocca, thank you for your service. 2 incomings, Joe Rodon, and as of tonight, Alex Carnes from Salford City, a third string goalie. So really, I mean, out of everybody that I gave you, who are you missing? Who are you missing? You're missing Archie. You're missing Archie, but you got a bag for him. You got 40 million for him, plus Joe Rodon coming back. So maybe you say 30 in Rodon. Charlie Cresswell as a prospect, you're going to probably miss him, but maybe for the betterment of the locker room, you had to get rid of him. And Liam Cooper. That's who you're missing. If you go back to the Leeds United, let me pull this up. Southampton match. And let's share this screen to just go through the lineup of that game to who we brought at Wembley. Okay. The only player from that starting lineup that we're missing right now is Archie Gray. So we haven't, and it's early in this window, especially how the 49ers like to do business. We're down one really strong player, but everyone else is here. Meslier, Rodon, Ampadu, Firpo, Gruev, Kamara, Nanto, Ruter, Somerville, and Perot. And a player that unfortunately didn't make the roster or might make the squad, which was Bamford. You'd also say Jaden Anthony is recalled, so that's kind of a loss. Connor a loss. Connor Roberts, there are rumors, and I'm not that channel, so I don't don't subscribe to me, but hopefully Connor Roberts might be able to find a way back at Ellen Road. So that would be a fantastic player to join back. But what I'm saying to you is we haven't missed too many players that were actually contributing to the squad week in, week out. We can also probably say, and I might take pelters for this, but Brendan Aronson is coming back into the squad. Now, he's light, he's weak. I've done videos about this before. It's really not the fact of his build and his, his spaghetti arms and all that stuff. I mean, he's the same weight and height as Pablo Hernandez. He's the same weight and height as Bernardo Silva. He needs to understand the nuances of the game, and he needs to get kicked off the pitch a few times. I like him as a backup forward player, whether you want to say, I don't know if he's a 10, but maybe he plays off the wing and he is backing up Dan James and coming on in the last 10, 15 minutes of a match to press the heck out of the ball. I think that might be a decent move for him. So Brendan Aronson might be a nice depth piece. We don't know what's going on with Max Vober, although I think he probably goes back out on loan. And Rasmus Christensen, who honestly I think he might be a decent depth piece. But Max Vober probably gets a loan back. What's my wish list? What's your wish list? Okay, let's go over that. My wish list is, I think we need 2 fullbacks, 2 center backs, because I think we need depth behind Pascal. He's a sight for sore eyes, by the way. Have you guys seen him in the training videos? I mean, I think he's got to grow the ponytail back, doesn't he? I mean, it's like, that's the source of all of his power, right? But it's good to see Pascal back, and that partnership with Joe Rodon and Pascal will be formidable. But he's coming off a pretty long time out. So Pascal, but I would like to see 2 center backs just in terms of depth. I don't want to see Ampadu back at center back. That would be, it'd be a disservice, I think, to his natural position. So 2 fullbacks for me. And the other thing about the current fullbacks is Junior Firpo and Sam Byram. We're 2 injury-prone seasons. Junior, I was about to write him off. So I want to see 2 fullbacks. I would like a winger because I still think Crescencio or Nanto is going to go, and I would like to see a striker. Most of you will say 10. I would not probably have a problem with that. Maybe Callum O'Hare is that answer. What we really need besides a 10, and everybody said we haven't replaced Pablo, and we haven't, right? That's such a difficult player to replace. But more so of like who he was and the position that he played. We miss him because of what he gave. Whenever we needed a goal, whenever we needed to unlock a defense, and in a promotion season, more than anything else, you need a player that's going to unlock a defense and get you something when you're just desperate for a goal or for some action to happen. And Pablo was there. He was able to give that to us. And so is Callum O'Hare that answer? I don't know. I don't see that answer currently on the squad, but we do need a Pablo-like player, I don't care what position he plays. I mean, probably, one of the front 4, but we do need a Pablo replacement. So that's kind of my wish list there. Let's get to Dow, one of the super fans of Leeds United. I see you in a ton of comments. He says, we're going to need to pad out the squad depth for sure. Time to start looking for players we can get early in the window, maybe smaller championship sides or even League One. Now, I'll tell you what, Dow, I am getting nervous about the academy. There's not really a lot of players where you're kind of seeing like where you saw Somerville and Greenwood and Joffe. You saw those players kind of emerging in the 21s at the time or 19s. We don't have a lot of depth. At least you're hearing kind of in the ether of the academy. I am getting a little concerned there where, we seem to have used all of those players up, if that makes any sense. So I would like to see some just reinvestment into some younger players and building for the future. Pascal getting Dallas also says Pascal getting hurt tanked our season. He's so important. Yeah, he's vital, and it wasn't just him getting hurt, right? It was Ampadu moving back. So I thought that was massive. Um, but yeah, Mateo Joseph is the player that I was really thinking of, another academy. He was brought on late, but I know he came from the academy. Maybe not so much as you know, uh, uh, Sam Bynum or Jamie Shackleton, like where they were really in the academy, or you know, Archie Gray. But you know what I'm saying. I just think we need more investment into the academy boys. Um, so that's a little bit of concerning to me. But I think, yeah, we just need speed. I mean, I don't know. I'm even thinking like a Jack Clark, something like that. Um, let's go. Let's keep it moving, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. I might read a couple comments on the Archie move still. Thorpe Arch. Look, this is a little thing. The Thorpe Arch. It seemed to have gotten a little bit of a facelift. And look, that's a small thing, but to me, it's a big thing because it's going to help our recruitment. Did you see some of the videos that were coming out of Leeds United official accounts when they were doing these, not the bleep tests, not the stuff that was actually out on the pitches? I'm talking about the Thorpe Arch weight room, okay, and the physio rooms seem to have gotten a little bit of a facelift. And every time I looked at like the inside training videos, like last year, it was like the previous 5-6 years, whatever. Thorpe Arch seemed to have had like a very outdated weight room. And the fact that they're doing these plyometric training kind of things where they're like lifting up weights, but it's really immovable objects. Whatever, to test their strength. Really, that's how you test somebody's strength, because it's kind of like if you've ever seen arm wrestlers, there's guys that are like super skinny and you're like, this guy's gonna get absolutely, and goes up against a bodybuilder and it's just like boom. But that's because in arm wrestling, you can't necessarily judge somebody's strength by their body mass or anything like that. So anyways, this plyometric training stuff that they're doing is really interesting. And just to look at the weight room, and it looks like Thorpe Arch got a facelift. I mean, I think that's a little thing, but I think it's a big thing in terms of recruitment, retention, overall player happiness. So I like that. The other thing is, I did a little bit of a Twitter thing where I grabbed a piece of Joe Rodon's interview. It's just like, man, when Joe Rodon talked about Leeds United and joining the side, is like, it was so refreshing. It's just, this is the type of player that I don't know where this guy's made out of. I mean, he's made in a lab or something, but the fact that he had probably Premier League offers on the table and he decided to come to Leeds United because he saw the project, because he saw the fans, because he said, quote, Leeds United took a chance on me when no one else did. It's like yes, Joe, like, get in. Like, this is what we want. This is the type of player. This is the type of culture that we want. Everybody's saying, give him the armband. Him and Ethan Ampadu have been incredible signings, just not in terms of the player's ability, but because there's guys that are able, there's guys that have ability, but that kind of mindset, that kind of just attitude. And we can say all this stuff about side before self and all the things that would really get us going as Leeds fans. And it's just so nice to hear Joe Rodon say, they took a chance on me. They gave me a chance, and I'm going to honor that handshake. He could have gone anywhere. I mean, he wasn't going to go to Real Madrid, but you understand? Like, he could have probably gotten maybe more money. This guy left money on the table. I don't even think we realize that. And maybe he didn't leave money on the table. Maybe you say, well, he could have gotten a $10 million deal somewhere else, but he could have been playing first team Premier League football or been fighting for a spot at a mid to lower level Premier League side. And he comes to Leeds United, who we know were in the in the championship right now, but he doesn't see that. And it's just so refreshing to see a player say what he said. And I'm going to share that. This is the YouTube shorts. I was going to do the whole thing, but it's like 5 minutes. So I just want to do this little part. You guys can hopefully hear it. And he is asked about the other interests from other clubs.
Yes, but for me, in my heart, there was only kind of one destination for me, and especially the way it ended last season. I just think with a project that I believe that's going to happen here and go on for the future, I just felt like Leeds is the perfect place for me. That was probably the biggest thing I noticed when I first came through the doors last season. The support this club gets is, it's unbelievable, and I felt that from the first time I walked onto Ellen Road, and yeah, it's just something that has stuck with me ever since. And yeah, Leeds took a chance on me when no one did, and now I want to give everything back and take a chance on them.
I mean, you hear that, and it's just by far, hands down, to me, the best defender that we had at Ellen Road last year at Leeds United. And that includes Archie's potential. And Archie had incredible games and moments. The Chelsea Cup game sticks out in my mind, and Joe, I mean, all that stuff about not falling in love with a lone player. Some of us did. And just a player that really wore his emotions on his sleeve, that you could tell he cared, which is such a juxtaposition, because let's flash back to where we were with these, people call them snakes. I mean, Robin Koch and Diego Llorente, and that partnership, and those players who didn't care. They were packing their bags as soon as at halftime at the Spurs game. That's the type of players that we don't want. There's an old saying, it's like lead follower, get out of the way, or we want those players off the bus. Get them off. Get off this bus, as the Cooper phrase is. If you want to be here, then F off. That's it. And you can tell Joe wants to be here, and whether he's captain or not, or Ampadu, or if it's Strauch because of his years of service, doesn't matter. We need that type of leadership, especially in a promotion push. So it's great to hear Joe Rodon say that. But that's it for me. We got Leeds United versus Harrogate, July 19th. I'll read a couple of your comments out before we get out of here. But Harrogate Town, I believe I'm saying that right, July 19th. And that is, like 11 days from now. Wait, 10 days from now. It's the 9th. Wow. And you guys are about 4 or 5. Well, you're 5, 5 hours ahead of me. If you were 4 hours, I would be somewhere over the Atlantic. And then Valencia the 19th. And then the EFL season kicks off August 10th against Portsmouth. And I tell you what, that August 10th game it'll be a vastly different squad. I'm here to tell you, because I know a little bit about the 49ers, it'll be a vastly different squad than what takes place on Boxing Day, 4 or 5 months later. There'll probably be an outgoing or two, and there'll probably be hopefully 1 or 2 incomings on hopefully permanent deals. We could also, who knows, we'll see if the 49ers and the Brain Trust there at Ellen Road take advantage of some additional loan moves, which I think could be really great. To me, we have to keep, I used to say if we could keep 2 of the core 4. Last year was, I said Vober, Adams, Somerville, and Nanto, and we kept Somerville and Nanto. If we could keep, now it's not even like that. It's like we have to keep Jorginho Ruter. So much of our final third expression happens through Jorginho, and I just think that it just doesn't click, especially when you had like Perot and Bamford in there. It doesn't work. We have to have Ruter on the pitch. To me, he just orchestrates a lot through the middle. And if we could keep one of Dan James is probably going to be here, right? So if it's Nanta or Somerville, we could just maybe lose one of them. I think it would be job done by the 49ers. But we'll see. I mean, no one saw Archie. No one saw Archie coming. And you see that some of that stuff about not leaking, it'll literally be a press release by the 49ers. And then, Barron Cross, Graham Smith, somebody like that will have a story out 2 minutes later, because it's just not being leaked to the press or to Fabrizio Romano. If anything's leaked to Fabrizio Romano, it's on the agent side. There's none of that. Rad Razzani, we all knew what was going on. Rad Razzani was leaking stuff to Fabrizio. None of that stuff's going to go on. And we were a Premier League club, so we were covered a little bit differently, but you get what I'm putting down. I just think the 49ers aren't going to let stuff leak out. You saw that with Archie. I mean, Archie was felt like 24, 48 hours. What up? Harrogate. Yes, thank you. Go up after next season. Dow says, I think they knew they were going to lose Archie for peanuts if we didn't go up, so they went with the safe option. I get the logic behind it, but it's painful. Yeah, I mean, look, it's the legacy, it's the bloodlines, it's the Gray family. That's what makes it hurt a little bit more. It's the fact we didn't go up. If we were a Premier League side, we probably don't lose him. Like I said, if his name was another name, it would hurt, but probably not as much. But 40 million straight cash, you have to do it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this year. We'll see how much the 49ers extend themselves a little bit. They also have another window to work with. Can you sell players in American football? Wait. Sorry, I'm backtracking here. Aronson should come good, average statistically, but growing up. Yeah, I think so, Slim. I think I don't know. I think he's a good backup option. Honestly, I think he's a pressing merchant. I'm actually really, I think a lot of American players and prospects are pampered over here because we don't have good football. Thorpe Arch looked like a Division II college gym. God, you sound okay. Now you sound like an American or even high school. Yeah. I thought the Thorpe is big, but it's a little thing, but it's a big thing. American football would be unthinkable to sell such a talented player as Gray. You side before self. Okay. Yeah, well, it's just different. Younger players are on cheaper wages and there's no selling. You don't really sell players. The only thing that would be comparable is down a rabbit hole would be baseball, and you would sell for additional, kind of what they did. They got the part of the deal that makes it kind of an American deal is Rodon back, that they said. And same thing with the Bournemouth deal last year, is that they said, okay, we want a player back. So that's what's funny to me, is that, Jaden Anthony came back in the Luis Sinisterra deal. So they said, we're going to sell this player to you, but we want something else. And that's a little bit how we operate. So they're like, oh, you want this? So you're going to give us some cash, and then you're also going to give us a player. It's interesting. They're finding their way, I think, in this sport as well. But they are also not going to be mugs, and they're not going to do anything quickly. They're not going to want to put themselves over a barrel. I think also they went to Spurs. I think the original deal to Archie was going to be to Brentford. I was going to say Bournemouth, but right? I think he went to a better club. You know what I mean? I think they did the family right too by giving him to Spurs. Maybe that's just my 2 cents. Okay, smash the like. There is if you want to support me, smash the like, or you can buy me a cup of coffee. Those are the two ways moving forward. I hope to do one solid live a week. I'm not a transfer channel. Watch Gier. And shout out to Gier. Gier is now the biggest. If you followed me last year, I mean, I cold DM'd Gier, Leeds United The View 2 years ago, maybe, and we started doing some content in Jesse Marsh's first season, and we are kind of skeptical and everything, but just his consistency was great. But he had like 2 or 3 videos up when I first started talking to him, and now he is the biggest Leeds United channel. So Gier, if you're watching, and I don't I don't know if you are, but shout out to you, buddy. Shout out to you, mate. Great. You make great content. So I always say, watch Gier for all the rumors. He does his homework. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long time now, but he really puts pad to pen, and we'll tell you if something's, as he said, take it with salt or not. So I do watch Gier for that stuff, and then I'll chime in if something's really official. I'll go live, and I'd love to do, get the band back together, do more podcasts and stuff. But I just got settled and moved, and those of you guys that watch me understand all about that. But a loco, baby, right here. I think he might do it for Uruguay. And it's good to watch beautiful football again, at least with him. So I don't think he plays tomorrow night, but Wednesday night, the semifinal that they're going to play against Colombia, Colombia's been on fire. That's like an immovable object versus a unstoppable force. That's what they call it. So that game will be incredible. If you're up late, watch that. That's going to be just fantastic football, because Colombia has been playing just fantastic. And then, after watching Southgate ball, stay up and watch Uruguay and Colombia. All right, that's my time. Up the whites, and I will see you at least next week. And if something breaks, I'll probably chime in on that. Peace. Be well. Cheers.